Ever feel like you're working hard but not getting results? What if I told you that 80% of what you achieve comes from just 20% of what you do? Crazy, right? It's called the 80-20 rule, and once you get it, you'll work smarter, not harder. The 80-20 rule was discovered by Vilfredo Pareto, an Italian economist in the late 1800s. He noticed something fascinating. 80% of Italy's land was owned by just 20% of the population. Later, researchers realized this pattern applies everywhere. In business, 80% of revenue comes from 20% of customers. In health, 80% of illnesses come from 20% of habits. In business and work, most businesses find that 80% of their revenue comes from 20% of their customers. For example, a clothing store realizes that 20% of their best-selling products bring in 80% of sales. Instead of wasting time on slow-moving inventory, they focus on their best sellers. How to apply this? Identify your most valuable clients or products. Spend more time on high-impact work rather than small, time-consuming tasks. In productivity and time management, most of your productivity comes from a few key tasks. For example, a student preparing for an exam realizes that 80% of the test questions come from just 20% of the textbook. Instead of cramming everything, they focus on high-yield topics and score higher. How to apply this? Identify the key tasks that make a real difference. Stop wasting time on low-impact work. Use tools like time blocking to focus on the most important 20%. In health and fitness, not all workouts are equal. 20% of exercises give you 80% of your results. For example, a person wanting to lose weight realizes that 80% of fat loss comes from just 20% of habits, like cutting out sugar in processed foods. How to apply this? Focus on the few key habits that make the biggest impact. Track which exercises or diets that gives you the best results. In personal relationships and happiness, most of your happiness comes from a few key relationships. For example, think about your friends. 20% of them bring 80% of your joy, while others drain your energy. How to apply this? Spend more time with the people who uplift you. Remove toxic relationships that don't add value. How to apply the 80-20 rule to your life? Now that you see how powerful the 80-20 rule is, how do you apply it to your life? Step 1. Identify your 20%. Look at your tasks, work, habits, and relationships. Which ones create the most results? Example. A freelancer notices that 20% of their clients bring 80% of their income, so they focus on them instead of chasing small projects. Step 2. Eliminate the 80% that doesn't matter. Most of us waste time on low-value tasks. Cut them out. For example, a person checks their phone 100 times a day, but only 20% of notifications are important. They turn off distractions to stay focused. Step 3. Multiply your 20% success. Once you know what works, double down on it. For example, a YouTuber sees that 20% of their videos get 80% of views, so they make more videos on similar topics. The 80-20 rule teaches us one thing. Not all work is equal. Focus on the small actions that create the biggest results. Remember, 20% of your actions create 80% of your success. Focus on what truly matters and eliminate distractions. You don't need to work harder. You need to work smarter. Did this change how you see productivity? Comment 80-20 below. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more simple, powerful lessons from Stickwise.